they have just been taking down so many top teams. And here we are, Noob Snacks, Zeta Division Peru, our first draft of our grand finals. We can see our bands right up top here. Hoopa for Zeta Division, over to Zarina on Peru Unite. We've got the Buzzwole, and they take the Comfey away. I think this is absolutely the right strategy, but it allows Zeta to pick up Suicune, this unbelievably powerful all-rounder that's played more like a support.
Well, more like it is a support, right? We've almost seen it exclusively carry the experience share. You're going to see the light bulb over its head going into this game. It's so powerful. But now, Charizard is on the table, which is part of the strategy that you cobble together when you're trying to combat the strength of, like, Vitopo's Zoroark. They go Snorlax, Charizard, Draken, no stranger to that one.
Yeah, this is a great pickup for them. Snorlax is one of those defenders that just never seems to make it to a ban, but is always picked, always amazing. On the other side, more strong picks. The support core here getting lined up. We have the Blissey that's going to allow their team to have some of those deep engagements, even if they don't have the Comfey. And Leafeon, the fastest Pokemon really in the game. It's a speedster, and many of our speedsters are quick, able to do a lot of damage, but Leafeon gets online before all of them at level 4. It can put so much pressure on your opponents. If you get an early lead with this Pokemon, you can take over the game.
Yeah, Blissey as well, going to be a great facilitator for Leafeon in this moment. Tempo, Zainu's locking in Clefable, Zacian. Zacian also having a great weekend here. Clefable's healing unmatched, absolutely unparalleled from these support Pokemon.
Yeah, Clefable is one of those picks that I feel like North America has been sleeping on quite a bit, but worldwide this thing is an incredible choice. As we head over to Zeta Division, Garchomp in the gutter there is the last pick for Zeta. We haven't seen a ton of Garchomp this weekend. As you can see on your screen, a 9% pick rate for this Pokemon, but in the hands of a great player, Garchomp's still very strong. And then Anemo over here going to run the Absol, another very powerful speedster focusing on critical hits, able to do an absurd amount of damage in a single burst.
Yeah, I'm taking a look. Zeta Division's going to have to buy a lot of time here for Tomei to get online with Garchomp. We saw yesterday in the semifinals, when their Garchomp is online, that Dragon Rush, Dragon combo can take over the game straight into a Unite move. How is Peru going to smother the early game for Zeta Division to make sure that they can get their characters like Absol, Charizard ahead and online to make sure that the rest of the stuff sorts itself out on the back end?
Yeah, you can see both sides have this late game scaling Pokemon in Garchomp and Charizard. They need level 9 for their Unite moves so that they can really get powerful here, as we are all set to go here for game number 1. Our team's loading into this match. You can feel the excitement here in
This thing is full.
This is insane.
This is awesome.
This is absolutely insane. This packed house here as we get ready for game number 1 of our grand finals. You can see our battleground here. Thea Sky Ruins.
Say the thing, Spraggles, as we get into this game.
All right, here we go, everyone. Zeta Division, your purple team. We have Peru Unite, your orange team. The first game here of our grand finals is underway.
Let's get after it, brother. Tomato and Rom, two very strong early game Pokemon going into the bot path. Zainus and Draken gonna have to contend a little bit here, and they're already taking some damage, getting beat up early as they have to peel back.
Yeah, they had to peel back right there. Nice secure from Zeta Division. So all these wild Pokemon that you see between these two teams are contestable. Either team can take this and get massive amounts of experience and Eos energy. That's exactly what Zeta is trying to do here by putting the pressure on Peru. Able to take that one in the middle. Oh, wow.
Okay.
We had a Chansey moving through that central area, but Tempo taking it down for the K opener.
You know what? They probably thought that the Charmander was going to be in the central area. Oh, huge push. Immediately going for the knockout here, and the Suicune sorts out the Snorlax.
Wow.
Bang! That's a two-piece for Zeta Division.
Amazing stuff there from Zeta, stopping the Absol from picking up a KO, and you can see the power of that Leafeon getting stronger than any other Pokemon, faster, using this to take down their opponents, and now they should be getting the lion's share of this experience between these two goal zones.
Tons of pressure being put on. You wanted to see how these two teams are going to square up early, and they want to fight, Cowboy. Tempo moving forward. KO there, bang! Two more down instantly as Peru gets two back the other way. Dragon's low, Vitopo's low, but it's then Peru that goes down.
You were wondering how these teams were going to square up, what the vibe check was going to be at the start of this match. Well, they are scrapping immediately here on Thea Sky Ruins. More points into this goal zone. The attack weights are stacking. Level 7 for this Leafeon. In one level, they will have a Unite move. Absol needs to hit level 9, and if you look across the board, it is only level 6 right now. Zeta Division in control, ahead in this fight. Great stuff from Peru in the top path, but Zeta dominating the bottom path, and here they come for the fight around the Swablu Altaria, and it looks like Peru can't even contest it.
No, tempo's down, not certainly for a 4v1 as they immediately jump to their central, just getting inventory who's where, but this allows the opportunity to stack right back on top of the Suicune. The pressure is on. We're trying to freeze them. Draken with a big heavy slam. The Razor Leaf is out. Draken goes down to try and afford the opportunity for the rest of Peru to get out, and they are going to be out safely, but that means that Zeta Division can get that goal zone closed out.
Look at that, Dubes next. What an aggressive play, taking that goal zone so early, even before the birds have spawned between these two paths at 7 minutes 20 seconds. This is going to give Peru some experience in their bottom path that's open for them, and they desperately need it right now. They are behind Zeta, and it's important to note, Zeta won that fight without even expending their Leafeon Unite move. They still have it available, that Emerald 2-step that can do insane burst damage.
Yeah, they're going to set up, or they can set up a nice little trap with this Leafeon to get a knockout here. Good experience getting gathered by Peru as Rom is figuring out where everybody is, and Zeta Division is working on the basement Reggie. Regieleki is at half. Rom steps up. They're getting sussed out and eyed down. Regieleki goes straight in, and the Blissey takes it. Wajiro, the captain, stepping up for the squad, and Regieleki's flying in the face of Peru as that's 2 players down in a heartbeat.
Zeta Division absolutely controlling this match here as they are moving towards this goal zone, but Peru somehow able to secure in the bottom path thanks to that Absol. Crazy that it went the other way, where Peru didn't get the top path and Zeta didn't get the bottom path objective.
The Regieleki did hit, not enough Eos energy in pocket for them to close it out, but Tomy comes back through and gets knocked out by Anemo, who's putting central area pressure back the other way.
You can see Anemo right here trying to get out, just recalling in the central area of Zeta Division.
Good freeze.
Tempo in some trouble right here.
Good heavy slam, Yawn!
These heavy slams, unbelievable how they have saved their team with them so far. And interesting to see heavy slam Yawn, a build that you don't often see.
Ron take a ton of damage. Mewtwo Unite is out. Draken with another big heavy slam. No Yawn follow-up there, but Mewtwo has gone mega. Zainu's looking for a target. They want the Suicune. Bang! Seismic toss. Solar slam from the sky by the Charizard as they're just starting to burn down everybody else. Blitz assistance for the save. Heavy slam back over. Peru wants this fight now. They're going to keep pushing. Back over the wall is the Mewtwo somehow still standing, and Wajiro catches the receipt as Tempo gets eviscerated by the Emerald 2-step. Vitopo keeps pushing forward, and Peru finally retreats.
Peru pulling back here after a good fight, but they were trading both ways throughout that. We had a Unite move on Absol, and I think if they had a great opportunity, they could have tried to take down multiple members of Zeta right there, but instead deciding to save it for this next objective.
Right.
Top path, we have Regieleki. Bottom path, we have one of the 3 Regis that spawn there that will give their team a team-wide buff. I want you to notice, Dupes, next, this goal zone in the top path at only 4 points left in it. That was very intentional from Zeta Division. They did not want to break this goal zone early and open up more safe experience for the side of Peru Unite when the wild Pokemon spawn in the top path after that goal is gone. Peru now going for the Regieleki right here, and in fact, putting no pressure on the bottom path. We have all of the members here top.
Ships passing in the night. Basement Reggie to Zeta. Regieleki to Peru. And that thing's going to walk in, and they're going to look to close this goal zone out as Draken's going to wither it down and go for a big overdump.
Yeah, and what you can see here is just trying to score as much as possible before these 40 points go in, as well as leaving this up as long as possible so that they don't open up experience for their opponents. We have an interesting fight, possibly breaking out the central area for Peru right here, as Kaya's in a lot of trouble, and they are going to go down.
Oh, well, okay, they popped the Moonlight. You just able to get a block. That's wild. The shield on block is so massive right now that they're able to get out. Now, Tomy's in trouble as they got too far deep. Oh, Mewtwo Unite and the Garchomp Unite is going to find themselves a knockout. Zainu's used their Unite move. They're flying over top everybody, burninating the countryside. Trogdor style as Zainu's back, and they finally get knocked out by Tomy, who's able to survive. We've got a back cap of 42 here to try and bring this scoreboard to parity.
I love this play here by Peru. They obviously lost that fight, but they're still trying to fight. Oh, wow! The Ice Beam barely misses the tall grass. Tomato knew exactly where they were, but able to make it back to base in time. 225 here to 175. And this first match has felt breathless, Doobsnacks. These teams fighting the entire time. About a minute and a half until Rayquaza hits the map. And if history repeats itself from the start of this match, Zeta Division can have a convincing victory at Ray. They seem to be winning just about every engagement they run into with the full squad. And I think a lot of it has to do with that Suicune.
Yeah, and now they're taking some of the lane farm that's supposed to be easier for Peru to nab. Draken going straight in, gets a go. Big engagement on Rom after the yawn here.
Wow.
But Mewtwo gets out with the Fire Blast trying to run cover for Peru, and the exchange ends up ringing true. Absol down.
And here we have Zacian possibly looking for a fight here. Charizard does get the Leafeon, which is a huge pick.
Oh, Dragon Rush!
Combo moving in. Cynos in trouble,
down.
and they go down.
Draken on the retreat. They get frozen a little bit. Tomy goes straight in. Kea has been isolated. Moonlight is there. They can't save Draken. And the Mega Mewtwo Y sorting out another Pokemon.
Mewtwo Y having an unbelievable start to the day. I mean, keeping up level-wise with the central area Pokemon and dominating some of these big fights. Massive damage from it. And right now, they would love to get some auto attacks onto the side of Peru so they could charge up that Mega Gauge, go Mega as soon as this fight kicks off. It's going to be a little tough if they can't, right? It takes a little time for Mewtwo Y to become super powerful in these big fights. However, Zeta in control right here. Look at the position around Rayquaza. Extremely aggressive all the way towards the side of Peru, as Peru is sneaking through the tall grass in the top here. This fight could be the last fight of our first match as they make their way up through the tall grass, looking for some experience here, just trying to get ahead somehow against Zeta and deciding when they're going to fight. They're behind on the scoreboard, so Peru is the team that needs to make a play. If they just let the clock tick down, Zeta takes this match. Now, of course, that will not happen. They will find a fight. The question is, can Zeta counter-punch it, punish them for a mistake, and win this thing as they've won a lot of their fights so far? Dinus, level 14 now, looking for their moment to start this engage.
They're trying to get some information, find out where Peru is. They have not found out where that Leafeon is, and that's keeping them from engaging.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for here. Someone that they can catch. If they can get a heavy slam into a yawn on multiple members, they might take the fight there. They obviously don't want to fight into Suicune when that whirlpool's around because they can be frozen.
Okay, they know where Vitopo is now because the Razor Leaf just coming out.
They find Vitopo. They're moving forward. Here's the heavy slam.
Heavy slam in engagement. Moving forward, going for the freeze. Over the top is Tempo on the chase here. Blitz Assistance almost goes for the save, and the pressure's on. Tempo is absolutely eviscerated. Big Garchomp unite. Vitopo still carrying that Blitz Assistance. They're looking for a new target. Power Nap doesn't bind everybody. Then it's the Rayquaza taken by Peru. Peru is taking it. Peru is taking it. They're moving to score here in game one.
Rom trying to stop Charizard, but it won't happen. However, multiple members of Zeta now running towards the side of Peru. Tomato looking to score 50 in the top
Charizard.
path, as we have Garchomp going to score 50 in the bottom path. Now they are up 359, 413, 513 to 275. Charizard still with the shield. No, it's gone. No shield, no time left. Zeta Division doesn't get Ray, but they take game number one. It looks like they learned a lot from the last time these two teams went against each other.
I was just about to say they are taking a page from Peru's book, not worrying about Ray and doing it the other way. Raw scores and knockouts.
There you have it. Game one for Zeta. Absolutely dominant performance, really winning every single engagement they went into. I love the call from Peru to go for Rayquaza, recognizing that these fights have not been going their way, but they're going to go for this objective. And they do get it in that moment. But Zeta playing around it so well, only letting one member of Peru walk away with that Rayquaza shield.
Yeah, great knockouts, understanding that Peru was going all in. And when Peru dives in to try and secure Rayquaza, it kind of puts you right in a target. And it makes pretty easy work for Zeta to just chuck everything into the center and get some courtesy knockouts at the same time. Let's take a look at some clips from game one.
Yeah, these are some big moments right here. We had this fight in the bottom path where, we talked about this before the match. If Leafeon can start dominating early, it's tough for a team to come back, and that is exactly what we saw from Zeta Division here, taking big fights in the bottom path. Anemo barely making it out right there, and Mewtwo Y actually being a huge factor here, doing so much damage throughout this match.
Yeah, a lot of resources going into ROM as well, right? We saw multiple Bliss assistants going to them, and at the end of the game, we finally saw Vitopo pick up that big Bliss assistance as well. Power Nap quickly secured. Just the Snorlax left standing. Their shield is gone. Draken's beat up. No, they can't stop Zainus to score, but look at this. The rest of the team's peeling.
Yeah, they were able to KO enough members of Peru that this single Rayquaza shield was just not enough. Tomato putting in the points at the top path. MVP from that match, Vitopo on the Leafeon, 12 knockouts, 81,000 damage. And again, if this thing wasn't checked and shut down early, it would run through that entire match, and it did.
Vitopo, unsurprisingly MVP. They've gotten this nod a lot this weekend. They are the carry player for this squad. Tons of knockouts, dealing tons of damage, and honestly, the biggest menace that Zeta Division has.
Yeah, it was really tough for Peru to deal with this, and I have to wonder how they are going to react. So they were able to take away the Comfey. They were not able to have, that get-out-of-jail-free card in a lot of these fights. They were not able to play Zoroark, but they had an answer up their sleeve. Leafeon looked just as powerful as some of their Zoroark games.
It really did, and maybe it's just like, if Comfey's gone, Zoroark isn't where we go type equation that Zeta Division works through. However, I really liked Wajiro's Blissey.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was a great call, especially seeing kind of a different flavor of Blissey that we see often. Lately, it's been a lot of safeguard. We've got the egg healing with this. We've got the soft-boiled Blissey. I think it was very powerful for them, allowing them to sustain through some of these longer engagements that Peru might have wanted to battle through. However, because they were able to sustain through them, some beautiful Bliss assistances, that Unite move from Blissey, saving their allies, Peru really didn't win too many fights throughout that match.
No, and uniquely, Suicune made it incredibly difficult, right? Tomato, we want to talk about just headaches. You might think Psyduck, but Suicune in this one was definitely causing migraines on the other side of the map for Peru. Just another thing to have to slog through to close that gap to get your Charizard on Vitopo. And I don't think I saw Charizard Unite on Vitopo once that game, which raises the question, is that really the answer?
Well, you saw the moment right there. You called it out perfectly, where we were waiting around Rayquaza. They're looking for Leafeon. If they can catch this Pokemon that has this insane burst damage, start the fight with something like that, they might be able to make their way through the rest of the team, even with their entire support core intact. However, they couldn't really find Leafeon. They did decide to eventually take a fight around Ray. They had to. They were behind, and beautiful plays from Zeta, recognizing what they were doing, not even really going for Rayquaza right there. You saw the Dragon Claw combo moving in. It could be to possibly get a secure, but they knew that pit was going to be full of members of Peru. And one way or another, whether they got Rayquaza or not, they were going to pick up members of that team and try to knock them out.
And they were successful, getting themselves a win despite not taking Ray. Again, shades of 2 years ago at the AOS Cup Grand Finals when these two teams met last in this type of situation.
Yeah, it really does feel like Zeta has continuously leveled up throughout their time in Pokemon Unite, making a huge splash in our scene at the AOS Cup, as you talked about, when two teams from the Japan region were invited out to play. They made it all the way through the Grand Finals, taking down so many amazing teams, then eventually falling to Peru here. Now, Peru, this is not an unfamiliar position for them. Now, of course, the world stage here in Anaheim in the arena is unfamiliar to all of us. This is brand new for Pokemon. This is brand new for Pokemon Unite. But being down a game in a best of 5, needing to adjust and come back online, Peru has done this many times. They are a team that is forged in that fire.
Absolutely, and they were forged yesterday in that fire against LG, and they are in that same position where they got a little dominated here in Game 1, but it's less about what happened prior. It's how you adjust and move forward, and Peru can do that. They've done it before. They're looking to do it again.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and they're going to need to against a team like Zeta. They're going to need to throw a different look at them here. What they had in Game 1, they had some good moments, but they were behind for a lot of that due to Leafeon, honestly. Leafeon getting online so fast, and we had the Absol on the other side really trailing behind.
You know what I would have liked to see? We see the Zashi, but it was really Buzzwole as well that was having a great weekend out of these top path all-rounders. Garchomp can really get bullied early, I think, by Buzzwole. If Buzzwole hits 5 quickly, it can kind of take over that top path and slow down Garchomp. We saw how invaluable that was to Zeta Division's strategy in the late stages of the game, having that Garchomp kicking off good engagements, you know, big freezes from the Suicune follow-up, and it put Peru in a very awkward position.
Yeah, it was really tough for Peru to deal with, and it felt like they were on the back foot for a lot of that match. We saw this yesterday as well, kind of an unimpressive showing of Peru in their first best-of-5 against LG, and then they really started to figure out what their opponents were trying to do, started to pick them apart, picking away great Pokemon from them, but also just taking better fights, recognizing what their strategy was going to be and beating them in that best-of-5. They're going to need to pull something out here against Zeta. I wondered what it would be like in this first game. Sometimes teams are very cautious in game 1 of a best-of-5. No one really wants to make a mistake. No one wants to put themselves out there to get KO'd and have the enemy team start to, you know, gain some experience off some of those big early speedster KOs.
Right.
That was not the case of game 1. They went in fighting the entire time, both squads.
For sure. You know, some people like to get in the pool by taking the steps and go down slowly, and some people like to lay in a fat can opener and get right into it. Both of these teams got in the water real quick and started scrapping off rip.
Yeah, the question is, how is Peru going to adjust in this moment? There's also more pressure on Peru than there ever has been. There's pressure on Zeta as well. Neither of these teams ever in this position in a grand finals at the World Championships. And Japan has so much hope for Zeta. Japan winning Worlds last year, coming back to try to do it again. We had North America win 2 years in a row. Can Japan do it now and win 2 years in a row?
Well, we're about to find out, as we have just found out. We are on screen, Cape Theatrics, whoosh, as we get into game 2.
Yeah, here we go, heading into our draft of game number 2. Zeta Division banning out the Hoopa, Buzzwole. Onto the other side, same
Zarina.
bans. We've got Zarina and Comfey. They will not allow this Pokemon into this match.
So many high-octane tools. Suicune, Ho-Oh, which we didn't even see last game, available to come out. Latios, which has kind of been a polarizing Pokemon in this tournament. And look at this. We already see the texture changing here as Blissey and Leafeon are snatched up by Peru immediately.
So they know that they're going to give away Suicune. There's nothing they can do about it. They have to ban the Pokemon that they are trying to target here from Zeta. But now, instead of banning Leafeon, instead of banning Blissey that were such a problem for them in game number 1, they're just going to take them and play them themselves.
Yep, which means Charizard goes back the other way. Clefable as well, which is a Pokemon that you talk about getting a recent glow up, got buffed a little bit, and now its healing is, as we mentioned, unparalleled.
Here we go.
Ooh, Armarouge, nice.
Picking up the Armarouge. This is a Pokemon that's seen a lot of play in the last few tournaments, right? Regionals, it feels like it's gotten a lot of play. And of course, this weekend, Crustle, a Pokemon that has done very well this weekend. That Unite move is unbelievable. Has some recent buffs that have made it really tanky and difficult to deal with in some of these big fights.
If you can trap a couple players with a Rock Tomb and have everybody collapse on top of the Pokemon that are trapped, those are guaranteed knockouts, and it doesn't matter how much healing Clefable can crank out, you can get those Pokemon ripped apart.
Here we go, Rom on Mewtwo wide, no surprise there.
It looked
absolutely devastating in game 1.
Looked great.
And Tomy picking up the Blastoise. This is one of those picks that does go late in a lot of our drafts, and we have a few teams out of Japan that have been playing this very, very well. Final pick over to Peru, and I would be shocked if they end up grabbing the Ho. They could play it in more of a carry role, but no, instead they are going to pick up that Zacian.
Yeah, and it gives them good amount of secure as well with that big Unite move that Zacian has. So they're kind of checking all the boxes here. If they get in a squirrely position late, they can still go for a Rayquaza secure, hopefully before the rest of the team is knocked out this time, and get themselves a win. We've seen Blastoise really hit high highs and low lows. And Tomy, if they're on one, they're going to need that here now. Another scaling Pokemon for them.
Here we go as we're getting ready to head into our next game. Our team's moving around their Pokemon picks, putting their held items on so that they can counter their opponents and play the exact strategy that they want. Everyone here in Anaheim, let's hear it for your favorite team. Let's hear it for Zeta Division. All right, they like Zeta.
They like Zeta. Give me a little something for Peru. Okay.
Ooh, bit of a pop. Bit of a pop for Peru as we get ready for game number 2. And Peru on the back foot here. They are going to need to make something happen. They are behind in this moment as we get ready to head to our battlefield once again. Thea Sky Ruins right there in the middle, and you can hear the chant starting as we get ready for our next game. Zeta Division, your purple team. Peru Unite, your orange team. This is game 2 of your grand finals, best of 5.
Let's get into it. Rom and Tomato running in the bottom path. Gonna have the advantage here, but we've got a little bit of a cheeky rotation out of Peru. Look, Charcadet not even showing up downstairs because they're split in the central area.
Yeah, Peru nowhere to be found here to fight over this experience. Instead, deciding to get that blue buff and bring it down to the bottom.
Okay.
Your Tempo running up top, picking up a KO right away. Tomy in some trouble right now, going to need to peel away. Skullback and a Nemo looking for the KO with Razor Leaf. They decide to jump in, and they get it!
What a good string of KOs for Peru Unite there. Getting on top of Squirtle early is important, and slowing that thing down is even more so.
And look at the value here of Leafeon. We see game 1, game 2, how impactful this Pokemon is. Able to do a lot at level 4. Charmeleon, on the other hand, not as powerful until it hits its level 7 Charizard, and especially when it hits its level 9 and it has its Unite move.
Feeding a lot into Vitopo right now to make sure that they can get there quickly. It's a 3v2 here. Zainuz is taking out and finally evolving to the Armourouge, maybe sandbagging it there for a second. And let's see if they jump into the fray here. They're waiting for a Nebo to put the pressure on. The Rock Tomb is out, doesn't trap anybody, and the peel is going. Mega Mewtwo Y is trying to hang tough, and they do. The knockout on the Nemo is a good one. Zainuz is still trying to figure out how they can get to Vitopo, but it's dragging, getting the big spread off him as they have to retreat. Zainuz is there. Tempo runs for cover. And now Peru has to kind of turtle up around their goal zone.
You have to love that play there from Peru, trying to bait them in so that they could catch them in this Rock Tomb like they just did to Tomato there, but they weren't able to make it happen, and instead they gave up the KO on that Leafeon. That's beautiful for Zeta. They're even closer to their level 7 on Charmeleon, which will give them Charizard.
Peru already showing what their strategy this game is going to be. Trap in the Rock Tomb, get in there with Armourouge, finish with Zacian or Leafeon. Zeta Division knows what's up now, and they need to play around it.
Here we go. Charizard has hit Thea Sky Ruins here. 2 more levels until they have that ultra powerful Unite move. Ron just punishing Draken right here. It doesn't look like they're going to make it back to their goal zone. They go down.
That was a tough look. Again, Draken is going to be the facilitator here for Peru, and it's going to make it slightly more difficult for Peru to engage these 3 Pokemon on the side of Zeta Division.
Look how well these 2 teams know each other, recognizing where they are hiding in that tall grass as we have the fight about to break out here. 5 members of Zeta ready to go.
Draken eyeing up a Rock Tomb here. Can they trap anybody? No, they actually pin Tempo back, and now Tempo's caught. Vitopo goes for the burn down on the backside, and Nemo at least sorts out 2. Make it 3 as the War Turtle goes down as well. Vitopo's fading back. Tomato is running caution here. Draken X Scissors doesn't get to clip into the wall, and now Tomato and Vitopo are looking to turn the tide. Regirock is getting worked on. Peru Unite definitely has the presence and pressure. They're on top of Tomato. Big time knockout follow-up. Regirock is going to go to Peru, and they are starting to cruise.
You saw how desperate Peru was to take this fight.
Oh, another good Rock Tomb.
Over to 9. Massive Rock Tomb right here, looking for another KO. They pick one up on Tomy, moving in for 1 hero, and they get another. The points ran into this bottom goal zone. They could have a perfect overcap if they can make it happen, but Mewtwo Y moves in.
Can we get a trap here by Draken? A good little Rock Tomb. Follow-up knockout. Tempo gets a Charizard Unite pop and burns down the grass type, and that's well written in the history of Pokemon that's how that typing works. Tempo in deep water. Blizz Assistants tried to follow up, eject button out. Tempo pressure on, they can't quite get frozen by Tomato, who's incredibly low. They finally get the knockout, but Vitopo's still on the chase of Kea. Running covers the rest of the team, and we are now safeguarded out of there.
What a back and forth fight. They were fighting on that goal zone so long that Charizard was able to head to their central area, pick up a little experience, move over to level 9, and come in with that massive Unite move. But Bliss Assistance right back the other way, keeping Zacian around. Now that Char is going to need to look for some wild Pokemon so they can charge their Unite, but Anemo has theirs ready to go.
Boom, Emerald 2-step eject button out to fade that knockout, and a good look. However, we've lost sight of Tomy. Tomy being level 9 as Blastoise is important, as Peru is still trying to score on this base from goal zone, trying to close it out. Rom finally hitting Mega, using their Unite move, doesn't really hit anybody, but Tempo staying in the pocket. Wajiro with a nice follow me. Tempo trying to use their Unite move, and they are, on a sliver of HP.
Unbelievable limit testing there from Peru. And this is what we talked about with their support core in Draken and Kea, right? Able to allow their carry players like Tempo to make plays like that where other teams would not be able to. Tomato right now trying to punish them for this goal zone push.
Draken, Rock Tomb doesn't find anybody. He's going to take the long way around and try to drag Zeta Division's attention. Draken is getting low, gets frozen, caught. X-Scissor into the wall here. Tempo goes right in, tries to pop the Unite move. More rubble rousing. The Follow Me doesn't see anybody. Taking to the skies and burning down the metal type. Is that Charizard? Draken goes down as well. And now Zeta Division has control downstairs. Blitz assistance with the deep engage. Emerald two-step. Suicune Unite back the other way, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. We're spinning to win. Here is Tommy. A Nemo pinned back against the wall. Kea trying to stick in pocket, and it's a Nemo taking over. They're going to get out of dodge, and this is a win for Peru in that exchange.
Unbelievable moment there for Peru as Leafeon dives in for the possible secure with Razor Leaf. The Bliss assistance finds it, moves through like an absolute wrecking ball,
from a different galaxy.
The objective. Amazing stuff, and that is what you can do with this level of coordination. Leafeon should have its Unite move back online soon, earlier than Charizard, if I remember right, and that's going to be great for the next fight from Peru. However, if they give Charizard enough time, it's going to have their Unite, which is one of the most powerful in the game.
Oh, another safeguard pickup by Kea, and like I said, this support core is so important for Peru Unite's success. Zynus is now seeing 3 players from Zeta Vision pivot towards them, and they actually have to give up their buff in the central so they don't get knocked out.
Yeah, we have Zeta extremely aggressive here, and we have an Nemo deciding that they are going to break this tier 1 goal, so they're up big, 11 to 185, as Zeta is trying to even the scoreboard a little bit. Typhoon doesn't make much happen, but Char does.
Snatched up, burned down quickly. We're getting a back cap the other way, and Peru Unite's okay. A Nemo late to the fight, but looking to make an impact here. The Moonlight is up, the Moonlight goes down, Emerald two-step is back, and we've used the Rubble Rouse at the same time. Can they push away Zeta Division? Can they get a knockout? Tommy's stuck behind the Razor Leaf, and it gets a ton of damage in, but they still pump spin on top of Draken, and now we're back on the goal zone. Peru Unite is getting smothered and covered out here by Zeta Division. Now the score lead is shrinking, but Peru Unite still ahead as Zynus gets snuffed out.
Zeta Division moving as a full force in this fight, and you have to call out the amazing freezes there from the Suicune on Zeta Division. It's shut them down so many times where you had members of Zeta on a sliver. It gives them enough time for Wajiro to come back in with the Clefable, heal them with that Moonlight. What a fight here as we have Vitopo almost at level 15. And I have to say, a level 15 Charizard is quite a bit more powerful than a level 15 Leafeon. Both incredible Pokemon, but Leafeon gets more of its value early, Charizard later, and it's later, Doom Snacks. We are 15 seconds until Rayquaza.
Quietly, the Blastoise is level 13. Tommy's going in. We've got 5 seconds till Ray. No, they fade back the engagement, but everybody kind of knows where each other is.
Yeah, they're looking for them right here as Rob is actually getting very aggressive. Wants to charge up that Mewtwo Unite. They know that they can head
they're trying to set up a trap
with Teleport right here, but they decide to just move right out of this fight. They need to engage. Peru doesn't want to take this fight until they can get Zeta to expend some very important resources in their Unite moves or pick up a massive catch and get an early KO. You can see Blastoise aggressively positioned in the bottom path right there. If they're going to run into anyone, you would love it to be that tanky Pokemon, right? They do not want Wajiro to go down or Vitopo to go down before they get to use their Unite move. Rayquaza being chipped up right now. Ron moving forward, charging up their Mega. They're looking for their opportunity to fight, and they do need to take this fight, Doom Snacks.
Wajiro's positioning. They're chipping in, waiting for this engagement. We're spinning to win. We pump on 3. Dragon has to Rubble Rouse to make sure. Rock Tomb, X-Scissor into the wall, does get a stun. And now everybody split up. The chase is different. Mewtwo Y does a ton of damage. We have the Emerald two-step coming out by Anemo, and they actually have to retreat. And now everything's settling out for just a moment, but Dragon's left on an island. Are they going to be able to get this knockout?
And here they go, moving forward right here. Rayquaza being chipped. Tempo looking for it with the Metal Claw going after Vitopo.
Oh, X-Scissor into the wall. That stuns everybody. Blitz assistance, Hydro Typhoon. 3 players down for Zeta Division. Whoa! The Ice Age is out, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, as Peru Unite is on the chase. 4 players down. It's just Tomato. Peru wipes the squad, and they're going to score here. They're not even worried about Ray, and the Mewtwo jumps to the middle.
Wow, I mean, once again, Peru not able to take Rayquaza against Zeta, but it doesn't matter. 106-461. Peru is going to tie this thing up here in game number 2. For the first time ever, by the way, Doob Snacks, in a World Championship Grand Finals, we have got a brawl. These are often won in a 3-0 victory in convincing fashion, and we are tied up, getting ready for game number 3.
Just the prospect of getting a game 4 for us is electric. Well done. These teams are fighting forever. I love it.
Oh, man. Peru, what a turnaround from game 1. Zeta on the back foot, and this has happened to Zeta before. It's a dangerous place for them. They have dominant game 1s, and then they start to get figured out by their opponents here. Peru taking game number 2, putting Zeta in a really tough position. Now Zeta is going to have to react to how Peru wants to play it. I can tell you one Pokemon that seems to be the difference maker in these games, that Leafeon. That early pressure is unbelievably important.
Unequivocally, Leafeon is a factor here in this game, which raises the question, is it warranting a first pick at this point? Is it warranting a ban at this point? But I hope we see the clip at the end. Traken was playing out of his gourd in the last 2 minutes.
That fight.
It was banana lands because the engagement was from Zeta Division, and they were staying on their feet the whole time. What a match! What a match!
Yeah, such an incredible one. Closer than game number 1, I would say, where Zeta felt like they were in control. This was going back and forth, even though Peru did have some amazing moments. As we head towards our Ray fight right here, we can see some of these big engagements. This was that push right before Ray from Zeta, all moving as a unit, picking up another double KO.
Here it is, here it is, here. Bang, bang, bang.
Scissor hitting 3, but look at this full team freeze we're going to see from Tomato right here. I think they get all 5 in that Unite.
Gargantuan.
One of the best in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, although it was a perfect Suicune Unite, it was not enough to overcome the triple X Scissor into the wall with the Anemo engagement.
There you have Anemo, the MVP of that game on the Leafeon. Looks like Leafeon is picking up MVPs all over the place here in our grand finals. 88,000 damage, 9 knockouts, and the thing that you really can't see on the scoreboard is how unbelievably strong it is early, allowing your entire team to move forward, your entire team to be aggressive, your entire team to take more and more experience away from your opponents.
I can't say enough about this Leafeon specifically, on whomever has it. It seems to just ball out of control. Leafeon so strong, 9 knockouts. I think I had, what, 10 or 12 the pre-game before. This is a difference maker, and I think these teams need to figure out what its role is in the equation and how to contend with it, because only one team can get it, so if you don't want anybody to have it, you gotta ban it.
You know, Doob Snacks, I got to say, it is an absolute treat here to be watching these grand finals in this arena in Anaheim and to have a real fight in front of us. These teams all tied up heading to game number 3. As I mentioned a little earlier, you don't normally see this in the grand finals. One team walks into this thing and they look like the best team in the world, hands down. But this year has been so unbelievably competitive. I think from our top 16 yesterday, just about any squad there could be in this position, had some things went some different ways, right? I mean, we saw so many amazing teams make their way towards these grands, but in a single elimination bracket, you have to win every single time. That's what these two teams did to make it here.
Zeta Division, Peru, representing their regions incredibly well and really hamming it up here now that we are in the arena surrounded by thousands of people as they are looking to get the next game win and put themselves one step closer to be your Pokemon Unite World Champion.
Yeah, both of these teams can taste it. Obviously, Japan wants to take home another trophy. We've had North America year 1, North America year 2, Japan coming out as the dominant region in year 3, and throughout year 4 here. Every single representative from Japan making it into our top 16, the only region to play this well. The competition in Japan is intense. So for you to be the best team out of there, you might just be the best team in the world.
Undeniable at this point, Spraggles. Let's focus in on where this game 3 can go between these two teams. You and I have clearly identified Leafeon as a problem. You know they know it's a problem going into game 3. At this point, does it warrant a ban? Because they're letting every other strong Pokemon that we've talked about all weekend long through.
That's the question, right? Do we start banning this? Is it just that we end up getting this as a first pick and we're going to have to sacrifice some other options? Another Pokemon that's been with it every single time also is that Blissey. Blissey sets up so many amazing moments. I mean, we saw that bowling ball, Blissey coming through with the Bliss assistance. Not only is Leafeon trying to get the secure, they're being given this massive shield, this extra damage, and the huge explosion of damage of Blissey rolling through the fight. So that combination together has secured wins for both of these squads. Maybe if a team has Leafeon but they don't have the Blissey to support it, they're not going to be able to win.
That's a very great point because it needs like dedicated support. And the way the Bliss Assistance works and why we got to see that big bowling ball play is once you click Bliss Assistance on the target of your team that you're going for, if they use their abilities to jettison forward, it drags Blissey the whole way, which is why we could actually see on screen the Blissey and then the deep Leafeon engage and like a big old bus, the Blissey was running through for that help.
Yeah, it's such a powerful play. I still think they're going to take the Comfey away from Zeta. If they allow Zeta into their comfort zone of Zoroark Comfey, I think it could be very dangerous for them. So that's one ban that they have to take away right away. They've obviously been targeting this arena. They do not want to see it. They want to put them on something else. So that leaves Leafeon in this position where if you don't pick it, it can be taken from you, especially if they are the second position in draft.
Yeah, and I think these teams prefer the second position in draft, right?
Peru did in game number 2, interestingly enough. A lot of teams in that position, when you win a game, you end up deciding whether you want first or second. So if you get first, obviously you get the first bans. You also get the first pick, but a singular first pick, as it heads over to the other side for the second and third pick. So clearly, Peru decided, we don't care about this first pick. We know you're going to take Suicune. We have an answer to it, and we want your Leafeon. We want your Blissey.
Right, and if my little cheat screen here is right, it looks like that Zeta has chosen to be on that orange side, that second side. So they want to be in that reactionary position, right? Being able to react to whatever Peru is putting together, and of course, getting that ever valuable, what we like to call the gutter pick, the last pick of the draft, which can really be that big tide-changing Pokemon selection.
Yeah, it can always be tough, right? Some of the later picks are where these teams hide a lot of their powerful strategies, right? They don't want you to see early on what they're going to play because they don't want you to attempt to counter it. So we're going to see how they want to shift things up heading here to game number 3. Obviously, if we have Zeta as a possible second pick, something can happen. It doesn't look like it. It looks like Zeta is going to be our first pick here.
Okay. So they went ahead and stayed on that. Sorry, the names are different, but the teams are.
We Ron Burgundy the screen. Production, if you have the names flipped around, we will read them wrong 100% of the time.
100%. But Kea, of course, on Peru is on the purple side, first picking Leafeon. You want to talk about Pariah right now. And we see a Zacian Hoopa pick as well because Kea has been a monster on Hoopa.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love this. Now, I wonder if Blissey gets stolen and we also see that Suicune, but instead they decide to bring the Buzzwole here into this game, allowing Zeta to pick up Suicune. I don't know if they have a player that really wants this Pokemon, but I think it's one of the strongest in the game, so it would be amazing to steal away.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Zeta Division really asking the question, like, we're not sure you've got a Suicune player or somebody that can really make a difference with it. I'm glad they locked it in because that thing is incredible.
As you can see up on our big stage here, our Pokemon that are locked in are behind our competitors. Being here live in this arena is absolutely next level.
It really is, and I love seeing that too. You can quickly identify who's on what as Ho-Oh finally being brought into the fray in the Thea Sky Ruins.
Ho-Oh, an unbelievably strong pick, extremely aggressive early as well. It feels a lot like Leafeon in that it's so strong, so fast. It has so many great secure tools for some of these wild Pokemon, and it's so tanky that it's really difficult to take this thing down. Next 2 picks over to Peru right here.
Oh no.
They could be getting into a dangerous territory.
Oh no.
As they do lock in, Inteleon, low pick rate. A lot of teams have kind of bounced off this a little bit. And Lucario. Now, this is a Pokemon that you and I specifically have not loved seeing from these top teams. Even though they play it at a very high level, it doesn't seem to produce great results.
I agree. While I think Inteleon has been a bit slept on, and Zainus is a phenomenal historic Inteleon player, Tempo, also a phenomenal player without a doubt, but Lucario has not been it. Actually, some of the games they lost against Luminosity yesterday was on the back of this pick.
Yeah, this is a tough one as we head over to the final pick here. Vitopo grabbing the Dodrio. I have to say, looking at these two squads right here, I feel like they have a very good shot, Zeta, to take down and dismantle Peru. Yes, Peru got that Leafeon, but I feel like Dodrio has a lot of amazing options.
Yeah.
The Inteleon just gets absolutely ripped apart by it. Even Leafeon can kind of get its ankles broken a bit by the three-headed bird here. However, if Suicune can set up some huge plays, that could be massive for them as we head in here to game number 3, our battleground, Thea Sky Ruins. As we are making our way, we see Peru Unite, your purple team, Zeta Division, your orange team, all tied up 1-1 here in our best of 5 grand finals.
Early pressure going on, and we do know how strong this Sobble is early with that water gun secure. How is Zeta Division going to deal with it? Well, they're going to run straight at him. They're going to just A-press them down and get in their face, make them fight for pad, and try and bully them away from that contestable Indeedee, and they are successful.
Yeah, they move forward right now, trying to take some experience away from them, even all the way on their side, but Draken was able to help secure that with Zainus. That, however, taken by Tomato. So you can see more wild Pokemon secured by the side of Zeta Division.
A lot of action up top as Kea went deep into the waters, grabbed both berries, and now we have a knockout up top from Peru as they're scrambling to score. Well done. Kea actually throwing the bunnies that were in path forward, getting a score as well. So good early pressure from them.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, we have the picture-in-picture right there because we have a brawl in top and bottom path over all of this experience. Vitopo now has evolved to Dodrio. The three-headed bird is here, and they're playing that tri-attack, diving in here after they shoot those 3 blasts, able to do a ton of burst damage to their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, going with a deep engagement, boosted auto in, peeling back, but Nemo is right around the corner looking for a target, but it's a Mega Mewtwo-Y looking to A-press them down. Tomatoes pushing forward, Vitopo looking for an opportunity. Right on top of the berry is a Nemo. Zainus does go down. Rama's in on the way to the backside, but now the pressure's on a Nemo. Though they're on the verge of getting knocked out, and they get it. They get it.
Beautiful stuff right there. Ho-Oh does go down, but the more valuable target, the Leafeon, taken by Zeta, and you can see Dodrio already starting to bully the side of Peru here. 8 seconds until we have the Altaria Swablu spawning in the center of the map here. Tempo picking up a KO, but here comes Vitopo to punish. Kea goes down. Tempo's in some trouble right here, having to peel back to this goal zone. Vitopo now towards the center,
which gives the agency to these middle birds, to Zeta Division. Stepping forward is, of course, this Suicune trying to do their best, eject over the wall just to get away, but Zeta not looking to let him off the hook right now. Gonna go straight into the central area and gets a knockout on the Dodrio. Peru Unite looking to flip the script here as Tomatoes trying to flamethrower its coverage so Zeta can get out.
And you can see Zeta obviously recognizes that Anemo has that Unite move. They are level 8 on Leafeon, but trying to punish them still. That is the power of that Ho-Oh, the flamethrower, able to do so much damage. Pairing that with their curse item, lowering the healing on the side of Peru, very strong, especially into something like Clefable with that team-wide healing.
Big rotation by Zeta Division, 4 players on the downside here. Tomei was in the top path coming back through. Snipe shot is online, and that's a big damage dealer here for Peru. Bang, Rom, half HP gone.
Yeah, you can see now that Inteleon is here, these snipe shots can set up huge moments in these fights. Look how much HP is just ripped off some of these very powerful Pokemon. If Zainus can hit a snipe shot right into a Nemo moving in for some of these big fights, they can take huge wins. It also has great secure potential around some of these objectives.
You can body block a snipe shot though, so willing to sacrifice your body for the team might be where the support core needs to go. Chipped up, smackdown, put down, bang, Unite move, and it is taken by Peru. They're gonna keep pushing. snuffed out is Zeta Division as Peru was able to eke out the basement Reggie. Tomato on a sliver of HP, and they are not long for this world.
Beautiful stuff there from Peru. We obviously had the Leafeon moving in for the secure, and we had the option there from the Inteleon as well, peppering them with the snipe shots, looking to see if they could get that KO, they could get that wild Pokemon, and it looks like Dodrio able to take this all on their lonesome right in their
nice
Unite
follow
move,
me.
but a
Rolls the block.
beautiful play.
Nice follow me into the rolling the block with the Unite move. Gives a little bit of action and space for Nemo to withstand the onslaught, and Vitopo just has to peel back.
Yeah, also Clefable has this incredible power with its Unite that's often overlooked, where it recovers a ton of HP to a nearby ally once it hits that Unite move. Really strong. That helps save the Leafeon right there, as we have 4 members of Zeta marching towards the Tier 1.
You see Kea getting picked up and dragged to the side of Zeta Division, enough for them to get bullied away. Now that was just a 7-ish over, so Zeta Division does close out a goal zone, but still behind on the scoreboard.
You can see Rom here looking at what they can take away from Peru in that central area, but being pushed out. 164-87, very close match here, but it does feel like Peru, with that early aggression from Leafeon, has had more big moments, as we have Zeta moving down towards this bottom path. We have the side strike right into a teleport to pull Mewtwo wide back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much here. Able to walk away is that Clefable, so less than concerned, but at least they got some information.
Unite move on every single member of Peru. We're still waiting for Ho-Oh's Unite. It's very close, but it's not there yet, and Leafeon goes in right away.
Tommy with the smackdown up and down, and now Nemo is gone. Dragging for the pressure on Mewtwo, while Unite is going to see if they can catch some targets. Fading back is Zynus. Pot shot on Tomato. Tons of HP is gone from them, but the push continues. Zeta actually just laying up a nice front line, an offensive line, so they can take this Regirock. Rom eats the Bliss assistance to save them as they're peeling back. Tommy is well able to get towards the rest of the squad, and Peru Unite, no chance.
Yeah, just beautiful stuff there from Zeta, completely zoning out Peru, and after Leafeon goes down, they really could not jump in for that fight. But here comes Peru now, the Aura Cannon looking for it, but no! They fire it the other way, and they miss multiple members of Zeta.
The Suicune Unite didn't trap any players as well. The close combat is going to get a knockout on the Buzzwole in tandem with the snipe shot, and it's Zynus dialing them in. Big old finger pistol, water to your grill, son. Getting knockouts. That one flies a little wide right, Rayfinkle.
Yeah, there we have the snipe shot, where if you don't charge it for long enough, it has a wide area where it can fly. Sometimes those quick charge snipes pick up massive KOs. Other times, you know, they do that.
Big 35 over for Peru Unite. We've seen some very good scraps this game, but Peru Unite up on the scoreboard, up in the experience race.
And look at that moment right there. Leafeon just being incredibly aggressive as they head towards those wild Pokemon in the center, using their Unite move right away, taking them. They recognize that if they can get the KO right here and take the wild Pokemon, they're going to charge that Unite back up pretty fast. Leafeon charges incredibly fast, one of the fastest in Unite, so you can make really aggressive plays.
Look at how Anemo's just trying to get these Indeedee low so Zynus can just pull back and get the final knockout. Pressure's on though, 3v2, and with Vitopo is there to continue just harassing Peru. How is Ron going to go into this? They're going to keep pushing forward. A bit surprised here as the snipe shot finds Wajiro.
Yeah, I mean, this Tier 2 is a great place for Peru to fight, especially without all of the members here of Zeta. And we have not seen huge moments from this Ho-Oh yet. However, as we move towards Rayquaza, if multiple members of Zeta go down, that rekindling flame will allow Ho-Oh to bring them back into this fight. Peru is going to need to manage this Ho-Oh and manage its Unite move. If they can KO it early in this fight, they are in a great position. However, if they're taking multiple members of Zeta down, expending all of their Unite moves, and then Ho-Oh brings them back, this could be deadly for Peru.
Brett is quickly getting worked on by Peru, putting a favorability there as Zeta Division might collapse on them.
Yeah, this is interesting here. Regi's about to go down, but here comes Zeta, secured by Lucario. Tempo in trouble as they're peeling forward. This could be Rayquaza right now.
Vitopo goes straight in, Aura Cannon through to get that shield, and we pop the Clefable Unite as well. No resource expended on the side of Zeta, but Peru Unite is down. Some Unite moves here, specifically the Lucarios and the Clefables.
This is a beautiful play by Zeta. They didn't get the objective, they didn't get a KO, but they stole 2 Unite moves. This is exactly what we talked about right here. If they can get the rest of them and then bring the team back, they are in a great position for Ray. The snipe shots, hitting the ho-oh right there, ticking.
Buzzwole eviscerated, huge snipe shot here, and now Zeta Division has to go. Tomatoes trying to get in range, 50Y Unite, rekindling flame is going to bring them back into the fight. Nice, follow me, Suicune Unite, Blizz Assistant, Rom continues to pressure on, A pressing him down, the legendary from Gen 1, putting in one huge snipe shot on Vitopo as they're forced to run away, and it's Peru Unite that comes out ahead in that exchange.
Amazing stuff from Peru. They got the ho-oh Unite move. It shouldn't have one again before the end of the match. All the Unite moves gone from Zeta. A powerful win from Peru. 1 minute left on the scoreboard, and they are up by over 100 points. Even if Dodrio is somehow able to make a back cap happen, Peru is still ahead.
Tomato working on this Rayquaza to try to drag Peru into the middle to open up the opportunity for the Dodrio back cap.
Yeah, and here we have Dodrio looking for the fight right.
Oh, nice flank!
Right,
huge freeze!
Close combat catches two. No KOs happen yet though. Peru heals back. They're ahead. 38 seconds left. Zeta needs to make a move.
Zainuz is single-handedly shutting down Zeta Division. Oh my gosh! Lucario's coming alive. They heard us run our mouth, and they said not today. The caster curse is real, and so is this Lucario.
Look at Tempo right here, trying to embarrass these two guys in capes on the caster move, saying Lucario's a bad pick. We'll show you a bad pick. 324, 87, more points in. Peru, one game away from being your world champions.
Woo!
Yeah.
Peru Unite. Holy, Zainuz is an absolute menace. Zainuz is an absolute menace. Where has this Inteleon been?
Wow.
Zeta Division could not approach at all. Those shots were cataclysmic, dude.
They are on the precipice of becoming a world champion. The first world champion from LATAM here for Pokemon Unite in the most intense competition that we have ever had. Zeta in trouble right now. On the ropes. They have to win 2 in a row to bring this thing back.
I can't get over this Inteleon, man. Every snipe shot that
hit. How about that Lucario that's so bad?
Who said that?
I think it was Zoinks.
Come on, Zoinks. Get it together, brother. Just like he was wrong about Lucario, also wrong about Scyther.
And just doesn't know what's going on.
He is right here.
Near the booth.
We honestly thought we didn't know you were here.
Yep.
We didn't think you'd hear that.
Thought we were talking about you with you out of the room. Okay. Heading back into some of our big moments here. You know, one thing that we do have to talk about, and I think needs to be addressed by both of these squads, is this Leafeon.
It's crazy. It's got to be banned, right?
I feel like as we move towards our next game, I would not want my opponents to have it. There are so many picks that I'm okay with my opponents having, even though I don't love it. I don't love that they have Suicune. I don't love that they have, you know, Ho-Oh or something like that. But boy, this Leafeon just feels like such a difference maker.
God, and that was a great rekindling flame too.
It was.
But Zainuz was just shutting them down.
Yeah.
You saw this exchange go one way, go the other. Draken steps up, huge freeze, snipe shot on Vitopo. Vitopo can no longer scrap, and then another knockout on Rom. And this is that huge close combat you were talking about, just ripping through, tons of damage. And that's a W, and shame on us. There is Lucario.
Zoinks once again embarrassed.
Embarrassed, golly.
MVP, Lucario, 4 knockouts, but really what I think sealed the deal for the MVP right here is where those knockouts came.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the match when it mattered most. Moving in, you know, the amazing thing about that power-up punch, once it hits its plus move at 11, you have this unstoppable that you're able to use even if your opponents are trying to stun you, slow you down. You can kind of weather that storm, then move in for the fight. The close combat, able to recover some of your HP even though you're, you know, close to going down there with Lucario. Beautiful stuff here from Peru. 1 game up, 1 game away from being the world champion. You can hear the cheer in the crowd for Peru. This audience is behind them. A team that has been beloved for a long time, has been so close for so long, is just 1 step away from a world championship.
You could actually see the smile of the players on Team Peru when they heard that chant erupt in the arena. Doesn't matter how much white noise is going through those headphones. Chants that loud are heard regardless. As we are, for the first time ever at a Pokemon Unite World Championship Grand Finals, headed to a Game 4.
Which is pretty amazing. We always see one cape dominate these cape. We always see one team cape. We always replicate. We always see one team dominate these things, and that is not the case here today.
No.
These two teams are so unbelievably good. You could absolutely see Zeta tie this up. And look, selfishly, I want to see Game 5. So I want to see them make it happen. Zeta has decided to take the first pick, and with that, they went with Leafeon, a powerful pick. I think this is the right call at this point.
How scary is that Zarina then? I think is the real question. Buzzwole Suicune on the back-to-back for Peru. So we are seeing similar priorities just getting switched up as to where they're selected, and Peru not letting Suicune slide back to the side of Zeta Division.
Yeah, no surprise here from Zeta to see this Blissey. I think this makes total sense. They could get an early Mewtwo Y if they think Peru's going to steal it, but it doesn't look like they're worried about that. They are going to take the Garchomp right here that did win them Game 1.
Without a doubt. And, you know, Tomy, again, yesterday had some really electric games on this Pokemon. It might be a comfort pick for them and somewhere that they need to be to really feel like they can help take over a game. And Blissey, with both of the Pokemon they've selected already, is a great strategy.
Here we go. Next two picks. They are stealing the Mewtwo Y.
I love this.
I love it too. Taking it away from Zeta, a Pokemon that I feel like in the hands of Rom has been unbelievably strong. So I'm interested to see how they want to react to this. Also, the Crustle pick for Peru. Loved it earlier. So powerful. Set up a game-winning play for them in Game 2.
Okay, it looks like we're going to have an aggro horse here. No experience share on that. Selected by Rom. Going to be trying to scamper around Arthea Sky Ruins. How is Peru going to use their gutter pick to counteract that?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. No way. We might see the Scyther and bring it out here. It is a staple pick for this team, and they lock it in with the World Championship on the line. On the other side, you talked about it. Galarian Rapidash, pretty new addition to Pokemon Unite that's been doing very well in the competitive scene the last few months. However, it didn't get to see a lot of play at regionals. It was banned out from that competition. Now here at Worlds, you've seen some great players pick this up.
How excited do you have to be as a Peru fan to see in this potentially set winning game lock in the Scyther?
I think Peru makes a lot of their picks based on how much it would make you and I look like fools here.
Yeah, and they are succeeding.
And they are succeeding every time, as we have generally not been behind Scyther. But I can tell you this audience is behind Peru, as once again a chant was breaking out for them.
Why don't we get a little crowd hype here? Sure. If you're here to bark up the tree of Peru, let me hear ya!
And if you want to see Zeta Division take it to a Game 5, let me hear ya! Here we are, Thea Sky Ruins. This could be your last match here as Peru, your orange team, is up 2 against Zeta Division, your purple team. These are your Pokemon Unite World Championship Grand Finals. Zeta needs to win 2 in a row to make this happen.
Zainu's already sussing out where Rom was going, and that's going to be a quick stack attempt by Rom, and they are successful. Poor little Dragon, little Dwooble looking good with that whipped cream and strawberry on top, getting pressured by Tomato, and coming pretty successful here in the face of the big lax.
Yeah, nice plays there from Peru. They're able to get the focus band off of Tomato early. That's going to mean that Zeta is not going to be as aggressive there with the Snorlax. But no, focus band right the other way. So both defenders giving up a huge item early that's going to need a lot of time to recharge.
Well done. Pressure early by Zeta Division. Decent secures. Draken doing their best as well, as we've got some parity here. Up top, we've got Scyther hanging out, looking to make their impact felt.
Yeah, Scyther in the top path here, looking to start a fight as we are taking a look at Zainus and Draken here in the bottom path. Leafeon right now hiding in this tall grass. Not stereotypical for the Leafeon to head to the bottom path right here, but they're trying to secure as much of this as possible and get Rom online at level 5 and make sure that Zainus can't hit their power spike where they can Mega.
We did get a knockout upstairs, so Peru Unite was able to get some points in. However, the experience goes to Zeta Division in the bottom path.
Yeah, and here we have Galarian Rapidash just hiding in the tall grass, trying to use that Dazzling Gleam to pick up some of these secures. They were able to do it right there. However, Zainus now at level 5. They have become Mega Mewtwo. Why?
Just A-pressing, right? Nice little trap on Rom, and that puts them in trouble. And that's why you select this Crustle as they seal the deal with the Rock Tomb.
And there, right there, you can see that that focus band still being gone was huge for Peru in that moment, able to take a KO right here. Tempo now in some trouble as we have Zeta pushing towards this goal zone. Suicune trying to stop it, but just a little too late. Grabbing Vitopo. Vitopo's going to need to peel back here, and here comes Anemo with a wing beat.
Right over the top, Wajiro tries to split the coverage here as Tomy is just goes straight in and picks up a huge knockout.
That was massive for Tomy right there, committing to that fight, taking down the site. They're stealing away those powerful buffs and all of that experience. You definitely don't want to hand that over to the Garchomp. As soon as it hits level 9, it is a massive, massive threat.
Moving through the center area is this Galarian Rapidash here, looking to make a difference. We'll see what Reggie gets prioritized by these two squads.
Pretty close here in the bottom path between these two squads here.
X-Scissor to the wall.
Caught in a massive way, and here comes Anemo.
Dual wing beat is there. Rom gets bullied out, but the split is back the other way. They want to get on top of these birds. Kea is fighting the good fight here. 2v1. Can they get Tomy? Okay. Good seal the deal by Vitopo. Pressure continues. Tomato is low. Dual wing beat. The berry is there. They're going to get some points in when they've got the opportunity.
Yeah, and here we go. They're going to score, stack up, leave this goal zone at 1, and head down towards this bottom objective while we have Zeta Division ripping through the top Regieleki. 2 members of Peru moving towards that. Easy secure here on the Regice. Easy secure on the Regieleki. The top path has the push going
Tomy
on,
goes
but
down.
Tempo's trying to stop him. Sending him into the air, looking for the KO, but Vitopo barely escapes.
The speed for that Leafeon is unmatched. As look at Tempo, just willing to fight everybody. Picks up Wajiro. Backdoor Anemo. Big Scyther Unite, which forces out the Emerald 2-step, and they take care of Buzz at the very least.
You got to give it up to Galarian Rapidash right there. A smart strike on Anemo, stopping them from continuing their dash towards that Leafeon. Beautiful play there from Galarian Rapidash. Nice, huge X-Scissor.
Yeah. Okay, heavy slam there on the Mewtwo Y. Big Mewtwo Y Unite. Is the rest of the team going to follow up? Anemo is here to try and close the door on Tomato. They're putting the pressure on. Galarian Rapidash steps in. Anemo changes their target priority to Rom, and they get him down. Everybody's getting knocked out. Rock Tomb's there for the trap. Garchomp Unite is popped, but it doesn't find a soul. It's just Vitopo standing, and there's not enough to stop this push for Peru.
Vitopo goes to score, but instead Peru scoring in the bottom path. Raining points in. Kea not able to score an additional 30. Vitopo scored. They could base, they could run back through the entire squad. Waiting in the tall grass for members of Peru to come back. Draken has gone down, but Vitopo has not yet found their mark.
Vitopo wanting to get Kea, but not enough to take care of Kea, because Kea's level 9 is sitting on pad right now. Quick rotation through the middle.
Wow, that was such a beautiful play from Peru, and it looked like Zeta was planning to counterpunch with Vitopo near that goal zone. They just weren't able to make it happen. They waited too long. Peru did not make their way back to that goal zone. Real heads-up play by Peru, recognizing that they were going to be in trouble. Anemo right here just being taken down in a huge way from that Galarian Rapidash Unite.
Yeah, I mean, now we're just kind of fading each other almost, right? The scoreline's close enough. Tempo goes over the wall, picks up Vitopo, uses the Buzzwole Unite, can't get the knockout. The 2-step is out. 3 players down instantly. How will Zeta Division use this advantage?
Yeah, they finally have a moment here where they can score, right? They're going to head down towards this tier 1. We do have Scyther running down. They recognize it. They can see the timer coming up, and instead they decide to pivot up towards the top path. They're going to take the experience in the center. They're actually going to give up this bottom objective. They're behind on points, so I think they would much rather have Regieleki right now.
No, you're exactly right. And they put good pressure on Tempo, figure out that where they were, so they couldn't step up, and Peru just trying to adjust on the map in the best way possible.
Regieleki now marching toward the tier 2 goal zone of Peru. Peru looking for an opportunity to get some experience, to get a score in, to pick up a massive KO. Anemo hiding in that tall grass here, recognizing that they might have to head back at any moment to help their team defend. Tomy moving through the center right here, but getting caught by Draken.
Does Tomy get over the wall? Yes, they do, very quickly. Anemo's there to try and close the door. Emerald 2-step and eviscerated. Big catch, Mewtwo Y Unite as well. Rubble rousing his Dragon X-Scissor into the wall. Gargantuan, the Ice Age has been presented, but is it going to be enough? We've got Galarian Rapidash Triangle is out, and it looks like the Bermuda Triangle for Zeta Division themselves. They are sinking out here in that team fight.
That Draken Unite move on Crustle was so massive. 4KO on the cake. Unbelievable here. I mean, what an insane fight from Peru. Anemo caught right there, but they left it up to Crustle to carry the team.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't just leave it up to Crustle?
I mean, I guess we need to start all of a sudden. Peru here now in a great position. They're ahead on the scoreboard. They need to make sure that they charge up their Unite moves, but they've won a lot of these fights. Even with the Leafeon on the other side, it has not had the impact that we've seen in our earlier games. 1 minute now until Rayquaza. Possibly the last Rayquaza we are going to see this entire season. If Peru can take this game win, can take this Ray, can beat Zeta one more time, they become the world champions. First ever champions with Latin America.
Getting good position here is Zeta. Buying time, 30 seconds till Ray. We've got a basement Reggie on the horizon. Peru Unite trying to figure out exactly what Zeta is up to.
Yeah, and Zeta right now is making some of the biggest decisions they will ever make in Pokemon Unite with their tournament on the line. Allowing Regirock to go towards the side of Peru, recognizing that they can't contest it. Instead, getting some aggressive positioning around Ray. It could be their final Ray. Japan's last hope is in Zeta. Buzzwole misses right here. They decide to push forward and then peel back. Tempo looking for a catch with some of their powerful moves. If they could make it happen, they could win the entire thing. Can they get that Leafeon? Can they get that Rapidash? If they do, the dominoes will start falling and Peru could win. If they can't, and Zeta Division can find a good pick, can take down Finest.
Blocked against the wall!
Tempo in trouble. They're looking for them. The Rock Tomb peels the team away, Doob Snacks. The time is ticking. Zeta has to make a play. Rayquaza is being chipped by Garchomp. We recognize that they're moving in. Ray is getting low. Heavy Slam moves in. Tomy getting frozen.
Draken with the trap. Can they X-Scissor through? The block covers them. And now they have to peel back. Draken in deep waters here. Tempo uses their Unite move right into the power now, but it's Fatopo there to catch him. Mewtwo Unite is on. Huge Ice Age gets two. Peru Unite's got them eyed down. The block is up, but their HP bar is shrinking. They're on the verge of getting knocked out, and they're gone. It's just Fatopo standing in the way of Peru Unite becoming your world champions. Rayquaza's getting worked on. Fatopo's trying to find a way in. They Emerald two-step, and they are getting a knockout. They eye their way in. Rayquaza's low.
It's secured!
It's secured! Peru Unite looks into the eyes of Zeta Division and says, we are the Alpha and Omega. We are the beginning and the end. We are Peru Unite!
Peru Unite takes Rayquaza here in game number 4. They're up by hundreds of points. They have the Ray Shield as time is ticking down. Zeta cannot make it happen. Peru is now putting points on the board and taking this moment to recognize that they are about to be crowned world champions of Pokemon Unite. In a short 20 seconds, they will be able to celebrate their victory, a victory that has been years in the making, from seeing them on the world stage at the AOS Cup go up against Zeta Division. The time ticks down. 5 more seconds. 2, 1. Peru Unite are your world champions! What a moment for a team that has fought so hard to get here, for a team that has always been so close. Finally able to claim that world championship title for Peru.